And welcome everyone to week two here of Coalition League's Noxus division of the summer split here. Now, there have been some changes this week, lots of changes here, so we will be discussing them. But first off, I'm Random Minion Caster, and alongside me, casting game one here between seven men and Vengeful Reapers is Adrit Luna. How are you doing, Luna?
I'm doing all right. It's been a busy week. Busy week.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of changes in the league right now. Three teams failing to show up last week in week one, and so there's been quite a few changes here. So, just a quick recap: the silver division is perfectly untouched. Everything was good down there in the silver division. For the Noxus and Demacia divisions, they have been reshuffled here. So we've got four, possibly five teams in the Demacia division right now, and those are all the teams that had a bye in week one due to their opponents not showing up. And here on the Noxus side of things, it's all the teams who did play in week one. So in the Noxus division, we've got DOV Nightfall, Xno, MG Nitro, Seven Men, Vengeful Reapers, and Glacial Inferno. And for tonight, the game we will be spectating will be the Seven Men versus Vengeful Reapers game. They were both previously already in the Noxus division. The only two new teams would be DOV Nightfall here and Glacial Inferno.
Interesting.
Yeah, so the two teams here, Seven Men and Vengeful Reapers, both of them have players who did play in the spring split previously. Vengeful Reapers pretty much keeping the same roster they had prior. Seven Men, couple of names you might find familiar. Carl Timon, also known as Team Min, as well as El Pals, though I don't believe El Pals will be playing tonight, but would be very familiar names. Now, I don't know if you got a chance to watch the games, Luna, but do you have any thoughts on the two teams played tonight?
No, I haven't got the chance to catch up on any of the other week one games except for what we casted last Friday. Um, Vengeful Reapers, they were showing a lot of promise. Last split, so I'm excited to see how they're going to do with the fresh start since they came into the league late. And then, like you said, most of Seven Men is they're all new people, it's fresh blood. So I'm really excited to see what they're going to bring to the league.
For sure. And last week when the Noxus division played, all the teams were very, very aggressive, really loving to brawl it out. Both these teams did really well, really high kill scores for themselves. Both, I believe, broke a kill a minute in their series last game. And one other thing to note that I forgot to mention, the changes to this week, we will be running best of threes. They're no longer block of threes. So if one team manages to win two straight games, they will be that will be the end of it for tonight. So we'll have to see if we get a shortened two-game night or whether we will go the full three-game series here.
I see. So, what was there ever like a how do I want to word this? Uh, like what was the reasoning for swapping to the best of threes instead of doing the block of threes?
From what I was told, this decision was made by the teams that a lot of teams preferred a best of three format rather than a block of three. At least that's what I've heard from the league administrators there. So seems to be just what the people wanted, and we're giving it to them. So definitely will be interesting here. We won't have quite as many games, but at the same time, I don't think we had a game where a team lost the first two and then won the third one. So not sure how big a difference it will really make in the long run here.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. Was how is that going to affect any kind of scoring system for the current split? But I mean, if it's not really a thing, then don't need to worry about it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we did have quite. I think both the games last week for Noxus Division did go all three though, but it was sort of a 1-1 situation where the first two games were won by different teams here. And sorry, ladies and gents, it's just taking a bit longer here to get into the pro draft. There seems to be some sort of a delay here between the teams sorting it out right now. So hopefully we will get the pro draft started soon, but still just waiting on that for now.
Well, yeah, hopefully it won't take too much longer. Uh, I still think it's going to be, you know, some good games tonight because, like I was saying, we got a bunch of fresh faces, so it's going to be a little unpredictable. Oh, hey, here we go.
And yeah, it looks like they started it up and just didn't get us the link in time there. So the pro draft has already started. 7 men going to be on the blue side here. Vengeful Reapers on the red side. 7 men going to start their bans with an Echo, Wukong, and Yasuo ban against Vengeful Reapers. Vengeful Reapers going to go with the Vi, Fizz, and Yumi. And I do believe we saw Brian play the Yumi last week to good effect. And 7 men once again going with that first pick Diana. Very high priority for themselves. Vengeful Reaper is going to reply with a Darius and Alistar. So really early Alistar pick. We've not seen that in the league very much. 7 men going to finish their round one here with an Ashe, ADC, and Lee Sin in the jungle. Vengeful Reapers now considering their last pick for the first rotation here.
Yeah, it's definitely a very ballsy play going for the insta-lock Diana. Uh, Now I'm not sure if that's going to be for their mid laner or if that's going to be potentially like maybe a flex to the top lane since they did pick the Lee Sin. Uh, it'll be interesting to see where it goes.
Definitely, and the Ascendant did not play last week, so we don't really have that much information on the Ascendant here. And it's going to be an Elise jungle pick here for Vengeful Reapers to round off their first round draft for Knowles there. They're going to ban out Aatrox first. The second round of bans, 7 men replying with the Caitlyn that we've seen Imagines play quite a bit as well this split. And we'll have to see what remains in terms of bans here. It's going to look like it's going to be the Kled against the Ascendant here from Vengeful Reapers.
So far, these are some very interesting bands.
Yeah, definitely. The last ban coming out going to be Ari against Jason KB, who's going to be playing the mid lane here. Vengeful Reaper is going to pick up an early Sivir on the second round of rotations here, so they will leave the counter pick for the mid lane for Jason there. And 7 men going to go with the Urgot top. So it looks like that will be a confirmed Diana mid Urgot top most likely. And Little Big Baby did play Diana last week here. Definitely prioritized it quite heavily as well. Often first picking it. So that's quite in tune with that. And they're just thinking about that last ban. It will be a support. And they're hovering the Blitzcrank. They're going to pick a Blitzcrank into the Alistar there. Interesting pick from 7 men.
Yeah, that's I don't know how I feel about that one, Chief. I mean, that's also a Sivir. So, I mean, just save the spell shield for Blitzhook. And, I mean, it's like Chat pointed out, these are some interesting comps.
Definitely. A Vengeful Reaper is going to do their last pick as Silas here for themselves, and that will be mid lane for Jason. So, interesting pick ban phase here for both teams. In your opinion, Luna, who do you think, or what do you think of the drafts?
Uh, the jury's out right now. Give me a minute. These are, I'm trying to piece together like 7 men, you have Ashe as your main initiator, maybe Lee Sin if he can get a good flank. But I mean, aside from that, I'm just thinking that maybe these are just really good comfort picks. Save for maybe the Ashe Blitz combo bot, 'cause that is a pretty good combo. But as for like team fights, there's a lot of things that can go wrong, especially with having a Lee Sin. I mean, Lee Sin could kick the wrong target out of a fight. Diana might accidentally get picked. It's I don't know. It seems sketchy. And then for VGR, uh, their comp's a little bit better. Like they have a little bit more synergy, but at the same time, the Silver kind of throws it off because they don't necessarily have like a very strong all-in comp. And that's usually what you would want for Sivir is for the all-in, especially with their ult. So I do like the option of grabbing the Silas to give their team some more versatility because he can grab Ash ult or maybe Urgot or Blitz ult would probably be his three best options. I don't know. Right now, I'm thinking VGR might have it with how the draft is looking, but it's. I'm just saying, just because of the Silas pick.
Yeah, for sure, definitely interesting odd drafts. And one thing to remember about both these teams here is that they are early game brawling teams, and even in the spring split when Vengeful Reapers played, they often did not draft for the team composition so much as strength in lanes and in the early game. And seven men last week looked like they do much the same. Brian did play the Blitzcrank last week, and I believe was into a Thresher or Nautilus. Can't quite remember what he ran. Oh no, sorry, it was into Enchanter as in the bot lane. So he did play it. He did manage to land quite a few good hooks as well. So maybe they're just looking for early game strength here, because that's what Leeson tells me. That's what they want to do. They've got to take that early game and they've got to kind of run away with it here.
That's very possibility, and it is Blitzcrank, so I mean they could just be looking to really hurt the Elise in the jungle. You know, just keep her down early by stealing her first buff.
Well, the Leeson was picked up before the Elise was picked, though. So,
Well, no, I mean for the Blitz pick.
oh, the Blitz, yeah, or for sure, yeah, could definitely be, and yeah, I think seven men will have to be the team who we have to watch in the early game to sort of make those moves, and if they don't take advantage of the roaming potential of that Blitzcrank, if they don't find the picks, if they don't use Teeman's Leeson well, then we're definitely going to see, I think, Vengeful Reapers come back in the mid to late game with a vengeance here. Sivir, very, very strong late game AD carry, and like you said, that Silas is real useful, has a lot of options of what ultimate he wants to take for himself as well.
Mm-hmm. That and Sivir's also just one of those champs where it's like, even if you have a bad start with her, if she at any point gets forgotten and gets up to 200, 300, 400 CS, all of a sudden she's full build anyways and just mowing you down. Because while she is a relatively simple champion, she does have extremely good scaling.
Yeah, her crit multipliers there are absolutely massive on her. So if she hits that late game with all those crit modifiers, I don't think anybody on seven men would survive very long. And speaking of that, seven men actually lacking a true tank here for themselves. I'm assuming the Lee Sin isn't going to go full tank, so the tankiest member will probably be Blitzcrank in the late game there, and that's not super tanky either.
Yeah, it definitely depends on his build. Like, I'm not sure what Blitz's baseline stats look like going through the levels, but I mean, depending on his build and if he's able to make engages well while his passive is up, he should be all right. But it's either way, it's still really sketchy.
For sure. And with that, we will head into a short intermission break here while we wait out the spectator delay that you can see on screen. So we'll see all of you guys in a couple of minutes. And we're back, ladies and gents, and we're into the game here. Game 1 between 7 men and Vengeful Reapers. And one thing to note, which I forgot to mention earlier, we are currently doing a giveaway this split. So once a night, if a team gets a pentakill on the live stream here on Friday nights, we will have a raffle for mystery skins on our Twitch channel. You must be a follower to be eligible, but it is... if either team can get a penta, we will be running it in the chat there. Now both teams on the rift here, and we do see a Blitzcrank, and usually we do see an invade with a Blitzcrank, but I'm guessing Jadelian's Alistair dissuading them there, as we see neither team really invading, just setting up the 5-point defense here.
Right, and I mean, it's just like, yeah, you have the Blitz, but it's just like... I mean, do you really go for it with this team comp? I don't know. I mean, that was some good damage, but it'd be sketch. Now, what they could do is maybe look for the late invade and go for the steal on the buff instead of like trying to pick out one of the people from VGR. But I don't know, man.
Well, we'll definitely have to see what they opt to do with it, because it's going to have a rough time in lane, I do believe, once Imagine picks up his spell shield as well. But for now, looking like both junglers just going to start on the bot sides here. We'll just pick up their respective buffs and then look for ganks, potentially either in the mid or top lane, and we'll have to see how that goes. And you mentioned there's a bit of damage traded down in that early fight. Jason KB getting caught out a bit by the Ascendant on the top side earlier, and considering, I'm a bit surprised, honestly, that Jason decided to go that aggressive with a Blitzcrank on the enemy team. I mean, it was the top side, so I guess it was the safer side, but still kind of risky here. And we see the rocket grab coming out, missing Jadelian. That's a hefty chunk of mana gone from Brian.
Yeah, but it's just like, you don't necessarily want to grab an Alistair at any point, really, just because either he's going to have Headbutt or he's going to have Pulverize. Either he knocks you away, or he just knocks you up. It's a lose-lose.
For sure. Now that he's level 2, he has both knock up and hit, the Pulverize and hit, but will be able to do either. The top lane, we see Microthorn going in on the Ascendant already, and Microthorn was a huge part of the reason why his team won last week, applying a ton of pressure, but Teemin showing up in the top lane, going to change this around. The Ascendant taking a lot of damage here, but still a 2v1. Microthorn dodging perfectly here, and we have Nose coming in for the backup. The Cocoon comes down. That's going to be the Ascendant going down as well. Teemin, first blood, going to go over to Microthorn in a effectively 1.5v2. Nose only coming in at the very end there to pick himself up a kill there on that trade.
Yeah, that was a very good counter gate by Nose. I mean, that was just really solid, and that flash from Microthorns was really good.
Yeah, and this is the Microthorn we saw last week as well, which really helped Vengeful Reapers to play to their maximum potential. Very top-centric team last week from them, so it looks like he's set to go and do it again. 1-0-1 with first blood means that he's going to have a hefty gold advantage for himself, as well as an experience advantage. And in that top lane this early, the experience advantage is going to be massive.
Yeah, not only that, but I mean, he was also gifted double buffs. I mean, double buffs on a Darius early, I'm gonna just stay in my turret. Yeah, my popcorn, man. I don't want to mess with that.
Even under the turret, though, Ascendant, as soon as he steps just a little bit out too far, Microthorn hooking him in and applying the damage. Suddenly, Ascendant's down to 20% health, having to chug through those corrupting pots as fast as he can to try and stay healthy.
Yeah, that's... oof.
2-level lead now for Microthorn. That's absolutely massive on the top side. No one's going to afford to just ignore that now. But Microthorn diving under the turret, getting really aggressive, gets a plate off that turret, but trades about half his health for that plate. I assume he's going to base after this, because that much damage, and he's got quite a bit of gold, about 1,600 in his pocket. Already 1,000 gold lead for himself, just in that top lane alone, translating to about a 1,500 gold lead for his team.
Yeah, that is massive. I mean, we're not even 5 minutes in. We're just hitting the 5-minute mark. That is crazy.
And that's
Whose
the
manage is this?
and these are the sort of games we love to watch here, especially in the Noxus League when they are aggressive. Bot lane, the rocket grab landing onto Jdelian there, but as you said, that's not the target you necessarily want to hit. Teamin replying with a gank into the mid lane as well, but Jason KB manages to flash himself to safety. Will have to burn the flash, but will remain perfectly safe, laning against Lil Big Baby for now.
Yeah, so like right now at this point, except for like what's happening top lane with how aggressive that is, I feel like the other lanes are just going to be try to farm and just be pretty simple lanes. I'm really looking forward to when we actually break into the mid game to see who actually takes the initiative to get the ball rolling.
For sure, and we had mentioned in the picks and bans that potentially Blitzcrank could pull some cheese off with some invades with his jungler, but Teamin already behind a level from that early gank in the top means that Brian won't be able to roam with him, but it looks like they will be trying to go and sneak themselves a dragon here as we see the side of 7 men sending 4 people to the dragon. Nobody in Vengeful Reapers in the area. Instead, it looks like they were potentially looking for a gank in the top lane. Won't find that and will gift a free Cloud Drake over the way of 7 men.
Yeah, that's definitely something that you're going to want for 7 men, especially with having the Ashe ult and the Urgot ult available. I mean, Urgot ult being able to, if he hits and hits the damage threshold, just being able to completely erase someone out of a fight, very scary. Ashe ult is their main initiate, so any kind of early CC is extremely beneficial for them.
Definitely actually beneficial in bot lane. We also do see now Jdelian starting to get himself a little aggressive here. We talk so much about how the Blitzcrank doesn't want to hook the Alistar, that he has to be careful, but it's going to be the Alistar engaging mid lane. Lil Big Baby going aggressively into Jason KB. Will be able to pick himself up a solo kill there. Good use of the Moonfall and the Ignite onto Jason. And Jason, a bit low on mana, was unable to get away. His flash blown earlier by the gank from Teamin. Will see 7 men get themselves on the board in terms of kills.
Yeah, it's interesting because I guess right now Blitz is just going to be using his hook to try to safely farm. That's I mean that is a valid strat.
Yeah, but not one that you'd want to see if you are 7 men, because Blitzcrank, an aggressive support forced to lane defensively, does not bode well for them as this lane continues to scale up.
That's very true.
We've seen Teamin here making some proactive moves around the map, getting ganks off in the top and mid lane. Nose, on the other hand, content to just farm it up thus far. They are even in CS though, so Teamin doing really well for himself. And what are your thoughts on that? Because I thought Elise was meant to be an early game jungler here.
I mean she is. I mean she does have the 1 kill from that early game top. So, I don't know, it's probably just communication from her team saying, hey, we don't need you right now. You know, we're just kind of keeping it frozen. We don't have vision or something like that. So, there's a lot of different things that it could be.
And now Jason KB aggressively going in after he gets spotted out by the hawk shot. Will get dragon kicked up, but a beautiful heal to keep him alive. And now it's Teamin chasing after him with a slip with very little health. He will go down to Teamin, but Teamin gonna trade back over with his life. Oh, a beautiful unbreakable will coming out from Jdelian will cancel the Urgot Harpoon. He will still go down from the sheer damage, but he did manage to block the ultimate. No, it's just barely going even 1v1 against Muxtar. We'll pick up a double kill on the bot lane of Brian and Muxtar, and the ultimate trade there comes out a 3 for 2, pardon me, as Jason KB and Jdelian go down and trade for Teamin, Muxtar, and Brian, and make that a 3 for 3 as Lil Big Baby finds Nose in the jungle to even up that fight.
So, I don't know what that blast zone was. I ain't even gonna lie. Like, you see Diana go that way. Well, why are you just gonna be like, here you go, have the present? That was kind of weird. And that was a very interesting interaction with the Unbreakable Will against Urgot's ult. I did not know that could happen.
Neither did I, but now we know Vengeful Reaper seems to have drafted themselves a composition which absolutely counters the side of 7 men there. So really, really well played in the pick and bans here by the side of Vengeful Reapers. And while all that happened, the Ascendant did use his teleport to get into that fight when Microthorn didn't. So that was a 5v4, which traded even for the side of Vengeful Reapers, and Microthorn just getting more and more plates off that turret in the top lane there.
Yeah, I mean, it's free gold, right? It's just like, if he doesn't have to be there, just go get free gold.
For sure. And now Noise getting caught out there on the top side will be able to repel himself to safety, and Microthorn, that absolute juggernaut, will be able to provide him safety and will let him get out there from the collapse from Teemin and the Ascendant. And the Ascendant is going to have to take the long way back to his own lane here. His turret almost down, only 100 health there left on that top lane turret.
Yeah, Micro can just walk up and sneeze on it and that thing's going to topple.
Yeah, but it looks like he's gonna base first rather than try and pick up that first brick gold. Go and pick himself some items. And he does have a huge lead. The last time we checked, he was 1,000 gold up. He's now 2,000 gold up at 11 minutes here.
That is insane. And interesting that he rushed a Triforce on Darius. That is an unusual.
I'm gonna have to hold you there as Noise walks right into two people. He stepped into the bush, saw the Diana, but the rest of his team has arrived. The teleport coming out from Microthorn with the Triforce you're talking about will be able to pick Little Big Baby up, and now Teemin is deep behind enemy lines. Has to be careful. Does manage to land the Q on to Noise, but can he survive? No, he cannot. Noise is going to be able to pick him up in that fight, and when 7 men were the first team to make the moves on the Dragon, it's going to be Vengeful Reapers who looks like they're going to be able to pick up this Dragon instead.
Yeah, and with it being Mountain, that's going to be huge for Alistair. I mean, Unbreakable Will already helped make him be a massive tank on top of, you know, just his normal build path. So any other additional resistances is going to be much appreciated by the Alistair.
Ooh, and the flash and exhaust coming out of the Ascendant in the top lane will not be enough. Microthorn able to just hunt him down and pick him off, and that's going to be him dead bot lane. Good play from Muxar, manages to get to safety as the gank squad's coming down to the bot lane. Noise and Jason not going to find anything, will have wasted some time in the bot lane there.
Yeah, and it's interesting that no one's decided to go look at Rip Curl yet, which, I mean, I guess Micro might be now since he just got top tier 1.
Yep, speak of the devil, you called it. That's where his eyes are set on right now. And you were talking about the Triforce that he picked up before this last fight, and seems to be doing really, really well for himself here, as he does manage to get the kill onto Ascendant, get the turret, and now it looks like he's going to be able to get this Herald, though Lil Big Baby and Teemin are in the area to contest this. They don't want to give it for free. The Q landing onto Noise from Teemin there, but a good repel will get him to safety, and now it's a 3v2 as the Ascendant arrives, but Microthorn, the monster, is still there. Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes across, doesn't land on anybody, but Noise going to get picked up by the Ascendant potentially here. Just a bit more time. No, it's going to be Lil Big Baby picking up with the Moonfall. The damage is good, but Vengeful Reaper is somehow in the midst of all that. Pick up the Herald, and it's going to be on to Noise there. He's the one with the after Herald. Flash is coming up from Lil Big Baby and Jadelian, who's finally arrived, running all the way up from base here. And Teemin coming back in will pick up the execute onto Jason, and now Teemin has to run from Jadelian. It's a support versus jungle matchup, but the CC coming out from Jadelian will not be able to keep him alive. Unbreakable will not enough either. He's going to use the Saltwash to buy himself time. That uses the Pulverize, but it will not be enough. And Teemin picking up a ton of kills and assists in that fight. And with that, suddenly the team's a lot more even here.
Yeah, that's definitely something that you don't want if you know, if you're Vengeful Reapers, because, you know, like you were saying earlier, it appeared that they drafted the team to counter 7 men. But it doesn't matter if you counter them if you just feed them kills. But one thing that is interesting to note is that throughout all that, Imagines wasn't even there. Imagines was just bot side.
Imagine's holding the 1v2 in the bot side, and we had just said how Vengeful Reapers came out even in a 4v5, and this time we see almost the opposite happening here with 7 men winning a 3v4 on the top side there, and part of that might have just been the damage he took from the Herald.
Yeah, there's definitely the damage from the Herald. The amount of damage that Lee Sin can do in trades is pretty good in the mid game. So, I mean, that's taken to consideration as well. As I'm not sure if maybe there's just miscommunication from Vengeful Reapers, or if they intentionally chose to keep Imagine's spot for that fight.
I mean, if Imagines had left, they might have lost that bot lane turret to Muxtar and Brian there. And Imagine's doing really well, actually, to hold that 1v2 in lane without his support against such an aggressive support like Blitzcrank there. And Delian is opting not to be in lane pretty much ever. We see him roaming again topside, gets yet another Q from the Lee Sin there. But that's 3 people top. They're going to drop the Herald and look for this inner top turret.
Mm-hmm. And to counter the point of if Imagine should have stayed bot or not, wait a minute.
And the Dragon Kick comes out as they're kicking Microthorn back into the turret. The Harpoon comes across. They will be able to execute him, and now the fear is onto Noise. Can he get away? He repels up, will flash over immediately, but Teemin following him there will be able to pick him up. That's a 2 for 0. They do manage, however, in that chaos to pick up the top inner turret at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was definitely a sketchy fight, but at least they were able to get the objective. So that could pay out in the long run for Vengeful Reapers. It's I don't know. We'll have to see.
That was a very interesting ignite from Brian. While he was under the turret there onto Imagine's, only getting the ignite damage off and drawing turret aggro for it as well. They will get some good damage on that bot lane turret, and it will be fairly low, just under 1,000 health. So Imagine's not going to be able to hold this turret much longer. 1v2, he doesn't get support. And the Dragon in that bot lane is coming up as well. Ocean Drake, this is the Ocean Drake map, so all the Drakes coming up here will be Ocean, and it just has spawned. We see Noise heading down towards it, but Teemin also coming out of base looking for that bot lane right now. Both teams have vision just outside the pit here.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see who's able to get the pick and start the fight here. Because it's definitely seeming like they both want to contest it.
For sure, and Imagine's finally getting hooked here. Will flash immediately, but will it be enough? Delian arriving in the area here. The flash coming out of Imagine's, but Muxtar following with his, and Muxtar going to be able to pick him up, but Microthorn has teleported behind, will instantly execute Muxtar here. The grab is good. He gets both Brian as well as the Ascendant. The execute gets a double kill onto Brian. Teemin running for his life. Can Microthorn get the third execute? No, he cannot, but that's still a 2 for 1 here. But the teleport not being used from the Ascendant means that he will have to teleport up for the next fight. Instead, the Drake gonna be started up, it looks like, by the side of Vengeful Reapers. They're gonna just clear up the vision here. There is still one more bush, and Delian gonna get nailed by Teemin. There has to be careful. The Harpoon from the Ascendant is still available, as well as the executes from Lee Sin and the Dragon Kicks. We see Little Big Baby looking for something. The Resounding Strike comes in, but Noise will be able to pick it up, and Teemin running for the hills does manage to disengage away with slivers of health. A good attempt by Teemin, but that Dragon ultimately going the way of Vengeful Reapers.
Yeah, it was definitely a risky play, especially being a level down. So Noise has a they have the higher damage smite, but I mean, people do miss smite all the time. So, and he was able to get out safely, barely, but safely nonetheless.
Definitely, and a smite fight between an Elise and Lee Sin, always a risky thing. Both of them having that percent health damage there, the executes from both of them, makes trying to time that smite really, really difficult between them. So every time we see a smite fight, it's not as easy or as simple as just pressing that smite when you see the number low enough. Now Delian going on a mystical, magical journey despite being Alistar and not Bard into the enemy's jungle, does take the Blastcom over, will be able to get out, and now has Microthorn backing him out, but he's going to have to run as the Ascendant chasing him. Those Moby Boots, though, will do a lot of work here trying to keep him safe.
Yeah, but he's definitely got to be careful in situations like that
And
because
it's
he
going to be
is
the Ascendant getting caught by a cocoon there. The fight has started, and the Executes are starting to come out. The Fears as well. The Ascendant somehow, first one getting caught, last one going down, but that's still going to be a double kill to Microthorn, a 3-for-1 trade in the top lane. Mookstar and Brian desperately trying to balance it out in the bot lane. Will finally take that bot outer turret down, and Jason KB just barely dodging out the Enchanted Crystal Arrow there. Almost going down. He has to be careful though. He's already very, very low. The range poke from Ashe doing work there on the side of the mid lane here. Vengeful Reaper is going to take that outer turret down, so that at least they will answer back in terms of turrets. They did not manage to get the Herald, unfortunately. Baron just spawning while that fight happened. So Baron now the next major objective on the map.
Yeah, this is right now this is actually a really close game. Until you look at the gold count. The gold count for Vengeful Reapers right now is looking pretty nice.
And speaking of gold right now, that top lane Microthorn almost double the Ascendant's gold. First person to break 10,000 gold at 21 minutes here. That's a huge amount of gold in that top lane. It's also where the biggest discrepancy is, because mid lane Jason down about 1,500 gold for himself there, so struggling a bit in the mid lane. And the bot lane also for Vengeful Reapers down a little bit of gold, about 300 for the ADCs, and about up in terms of support gold there. Jadelian's roaming somehow still keeping up in gold despite not being there to use his support item in lane. And when we look at the items too, the item discrepancy is huge. Microthorn already has the Trinity Force Sterix Gauge complete, starting to build into that Bramble Vest item there. And on the side of the Ascendant, only the Black Cleaver completed for him. So that's one completed item up in the top lane.
So what I find weird is that Jadelian has a Knight's Vow. Now, yes, that is typically a standard item for Alistair, but because of how he's been playing this game, right now he's bound to Sivir. So he's not getting the full usage out of the item.
Yeah, a bit of yeah, it looks like a bit of an investment for now, but definitely not that useful when he's not with his bonded target there. It looks like Vengeful Reaper is going down to that bot lane, looking to take that last outer turret for themselves here.
I mean, if it's uncontested, you might as well, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think 7 men don't want to fight that 5v5 right now. They don't want to be anywhere near Microthorn unless they've got numbers advantage. The Q coming out of Lee Sin, but really it does nothing on a full health Darius at this point. And it looks like they're clustering around the Drake. Nyx Drake will be spawning in about 40 seconds here. And that will mean yet another Ocean Drake. Even more regeneration for that already hard to kill Alistar and Darius. They land the rocket grab onto Jadelian there, and the on the hunt coming out from Sivir, but it looks like they'll just use that to run to the Drake faster.
Yeah, but the on the hunt caused Fryman to get a little spooked, and he oh wait, no, he's got Hex Flash, it looks like.
Yeah, he does have the Hex Stack available. So will not be able to escape, but Microthorn using his hook will be hooked back by Brian, but now it's Jadon in the midst of it. He uses the Unbreakable Will, and the executes begin coming down. That's 2 now. 2 dunks from Microthorn. Can he get his 3rd? No, because Jason showed up and started taking them. Mookstar running for the hills, but in the face, Enchanted Crystal Arrow will lock him down for a double kill there for Jason, and suddenly that's a 4-for-1. Noise getting blown up right away when that fight started, but with this, the only person left alive for 7 men going to be the jungler, and they're going for that inner mid lane turret.
Yeah, at this point it's going to be extremely hard for 7 men to come back, because right now you have Darius as the main carry. But that in itself is horrifying, just because Darius can be extremely difficult to take down when he's ahead.
Yeah, Darius right now, absolute monster. 8, 2, and 5. And we did see this last week too. Like, the top laners Noxus division seems to be very top lane centric, and when the top laner gets a hit, it becomes extremely difficult to deal with them. Lee Sin gonna get some vision onto the Drake, and they're gonna just pull it out here. But it looks like this time 7 men do want to fight. They don't want to give this uncontested. Not sure they'll get there in time, as the Drake has already melted here, and On the Hunt gonna be used once again to disengage that fight.
Yeah, now that's one of the things I do like about the Sivir being on this team, is they might not have the best all-in option, but On the Hunt can still be a great way to get out of a bad spot.
On the Hunt, allowing them to engage, disengage. They have to run off the map right now, and with the Alistar, that is a free engage, disengage option, and we've seen Microthorn just playing balls to the wall here, diving in, hooking people. I think he's landed more hooks than Blitzcrank this game. So really, if you're on the side of 7, what are you gonna do?
I mean, right now it's just like, I feel like their best option is trying to go for probably a Baron steal, because they don't have good pick options. It's like, if you get a pick, there's not much you can do with it, just because everyone else on Vengeful Reapers is also a big threat. You know, it's just like, if you try to pick the Sivir, she's just going to spell shield it. If you try to pick the Elise, she can repel.
Now the Flash Cocoon coming out will land onto Muxar, and Muxar instantly gets deleted before the fight can even start proper there. That is a flash coming out of Noise. It will not be available. It's still getting a valuable ADC pick like that. 26 minutes into the game might mean they have the confidence now, the security to start that Baron up.
Oh yeah, for sure. And especially, I mean, Sivir's, she's got her Essence Reaver. She's almost at IE. Sivir's pretty much online.
And yet another beautiful hook will lead to the execution there of the Ascendant, and Brian gonna follow him after, just a little too close. And when we said that killing 1 gave them the confidence, killing 3 is gonna definitely give them that security. Now Teeman looking at the side, seeing if he can possibly sneak in there, but everybody just body blocking. Instead, it's gonna be Little Big Baby going in, gets the 4-man moonfall, but it will not be enough. And now Teeman getting caught out as well will go down. That is a delayed ace for the side of Vengeful Reapers that guarantees them the Baron. That's a 5-man Baron for the side of Vengeful Reapers.
Yeah, that was just well played by Vengeful Reapers. It's just like, you know, there's no way for you to get a pick on that team, because at this point, they're either just going to 4-1 with Sivir being off doing the splitting, or they're just going to be all together and form a death ball.
And we just saw Muxar there getting absolutely annihilated. Jason missing almost all his skill shots, but it doesn't even matter. You can just proto belt and whack her in the face with the chains a couple of times. Muxar is not safe alone at all, and this will allow Vengeful Reapers to just push into the base in the mid lane here. That was an exposed inhibitor. They took down the inhibitor turret earlier on the last push, and they will get this now. Jason KB really deep in. They will get the Lee Sin Q onto it, but not sure that's a kick he wanted to take, because now he'll find himself deep in the enemy lines. Will get out, but he's really low there in the midst of that. Ascendant with his machine gun just going off constantly in the background. Imagine's brought in the bot wave with him with the Baron buff. They will be able to take the last standing inner turret, and suddenly only those inhibitor turrets left. The top one already very low, down to about 500 health, and the bot one getting sieged up by double Baron siege minions here.
Yeah, at this point, it is definitely Vengeful Reaper's game to lose. But this also just goes to prove the point of what we were saying earlier, you know, how they performed last season. You know, although they did come in late, they were very scrappy, and they were a very well-rounded team that looked very dominant, whether they were winning or losing games.
For sure, I think scrappy again can apply to this game. Lots of fights going down as well. 24 kills in 29 minutes. Not quite a kill a minute, but still, that's really, really high in terms of a kill score. And they've got the bot lane inhibitor down. They get the top lane inhibitor, and suddenly there's going to be double super minions being spawned here. Yet another cocoon from Noise, but it's going to be Little Big Baby engaging there with the Moonfall. Teeman finally getting executed after he dips in and out, and Microthorn on a roll, gets a double execute, looking for the third, will pick up a triple kill. He's going for the penta, but Jason KB stealing the penta. Sorry, chat. You can blame Jason for that as he picks up Brian in the backline. And this looks like it's going to be game for Vengeful Reapers as they take all the Nexus turrets down. They get the ace, and they get the Nexus down at 29-58 here.
Yeah, good game well played. I'm definitely looking to see how 7min is going to come back and answer how dominant Vengeful Reapers were. Like right now, I'm wanting to see a very solid draft from both teams because like while these drafts they worked out, they felt weird. They felt really sketchy. So I'm excited to see what they're going to try to bring to the table, especially with the side swap.
Yeah, so are you thinking here that it's really a drafting issue and a drafting issue for both teams, or like what are your thoughts here?
Right now, I feel like I agree with what you said earlier. In Vengeful Reapers, they just purely drafted to counter what 7min was drafting, and it just kind of ended up being a weird comp for them because of it. So I'm looking to see if 7min only have comfort picks in their pocket, or if they do have some kind of a team synergy, if you will, to where they actually have planned out like, hey, we can go this champ with these two, and then have the other two for backup, something instead of this Frankenstein of I don't know, like the Moonfall initiations were weird. Uh, there was a lot of crystal arrows that were unfortunately missed. That there's a lot of opportunities that might have been available, but they just didn't pan out because the comp was too difficult to pull off, I feel.
For sure, and if we look at the damage charts here, Lil Big Baby actually doing the most damage in the game, just barely edging out Microthorn in terms of max damage here by about 76 damage. So extremely close. So those Moonfall engages, they might not have worked out in terms of how long Lil Big Baby survived, but it certainly got the damage out there. And if we take a quick look at the damage taken as well, Teeman tanking it up for his team, ends up soaking the bulk of the damage for his team, and he actually didn't die that much either, going 4-6-6. He's not even the highest death count on his team, so a bit of a escape and survival artist there from Teeman.
Right. So yeah, it's just I'm just looking forward to seeing how 7min are going to bounce back from this loss. I'm going to see if they can keep a level head and prevent from tilting themselves, or if as it does unfortunately happen from time to time, they just kind of fly off the handle.
For sure, and again, it's best of threes right now. So Vengeful Reapers manages to win the next game. That's it for the night, folks. We'll see it. We'll have to see if 7min manage to bounce back for game 2. I know that I certainly am hoping for that because I want to see a game 3. And with that, we will be headed into a short intermission break while we set up for game 2. So see all of you in a couple of minutes here.